During World War II, soldiers faced battles not only against the enemy, but against hunger. Supply lines could be cut, rations ran low, and foraging for food became, a matter of life and death. In these dire circumstances, troops had to rely on ingenuity, knowledge of the natural world, and improvised survival techniques to stay alive. Among the most fascinating and practical of these were survival traps, simple, effective devices that allowed soldiers to catch small game and supplement their meagre rations. These traps weren't just makeshift gadgets. They were lifelines, often determining whether a soldier went to bed hungry or had something to eat. Today, we'll explore these forgotten techniques, how they worked, and how you can apply similar principles today for wilderness survival or historical understanding. Soldiers learned to observe their environment for food opportunities. The foundation of all survival trapping in World War II was keen observation. Soldiers had to understand animal behavior, where birds nested, where rabbits hid, or where fish congregated in streams. Small signs like footprints, droppings, or nibbled plants revealed the presence of potential prey. Observing the land was as important as the traps themselves. A poorly placed trap, no matter how cleverly designed, would go empty. For modern survivalists, the principle remains the same. Before setting a trap, spend time watching animal activity. Trails, feeding areas, and water sources are key indicators. Understanding your environment allows you to place traps in optimal locations, increasing success rates dramatically. Improvised snares and deadfalls became the soldier's secret weapon. One of the most commonly used methods was the snare, a loop of wire or cord that tightened when an animal passed through. Soldiers learned to create these from scavenged materials such as wire from abandoned equipment or string from packing. Snares were ideal for catching rabbits, squirrels, and even birds, providing a steady, passive source of food without requiring constant attention. Deadfall traps, where a weighted object was rigged to fall and crush or immobilize prey, were another crucial technique. Soldiers often used rocks, logs, or even old equipment to construct these traps. They required careful balancing and trigger mechanisms, which could be made from simple sticks and twine. While these traps were rudimentary, they were highly effective when placed thoughtfully. In practice today, you can replicate these methods using modern rope or cordage and safe materials to understand the mechanics of passive trapping. Experimentation teaches patience, precision, and the importance of observation, skills that are valuable for wilderness survival and historical reenactment. When game was hard to find, soldiers turned to rivers and streams. Simple fishing traps, such as submerged weirs or funnel-shaped baskets, allowed them to catch fish with minimal effort. A rock-stabilized funnel could guide fish into a narrow exit, preventing escape while still allowing water to flow freely. Soldiers often scavenged netting, wire, or even cloth to create these barriers. The lesson for modern enthusiasts is clear water sources can be abundant food sources if approached thoughtfully. Even improvised materials can create effective traps, and understanding fish behavior, where they gather, how they swim upstream or downstream, enhances success. This principle of maximizing natural resources applies to survival in almost any environment. Soldiers also used plants strategically to improve trapping success. For instance, leaves, nuts and seeds were used as bait to attract small animals. In some cases, they learned which berries or edible roots lured specific animals. combining knowledge of flora with trapping techniques. By observing seasonal changes, soldiers could predict animal activity and optimize their efforts. Applying this today requires studying local plants and their interactions with wildlife. By combining basic ecological knowledge with improvised traps, you can create efficient, low-effort methods for sourcing food. This not only feeds the body, but strengthens your understanding of natural systems. One key innovation was designing traps that required little attention. Soldiers couldn't constantly monitor devices in dangerous or remote locations. Snares, deadfalls, and fishing devices were designed to work passively. Once set, they continued to function for hours or days, freeing the soldier to focus on other survival tasks or combat duties. For survivalists today, this teaches a critical principle. Design solutions that work for you, not against you. Passive systems reduce energy expenditure and increase reliability, whether in trapping food, collecting water, or securing gear. Perhaps the most important lesson from WWII survival trapping is adaptability. Soldiers improvised with whatever materials were at hand: wire, string, wood, rocks, or parts of broken equipment. They combined observation, trial and error, and practical knowledge to create functional traps in a wide variety of environments, from European forests to Pacific jungles. Modern survivalists can emulate this mindset. By learning the principles behind traps rather than memorizing a single design, you can adapt to any situation. Flexibility and ingenuity are more valuable than a perfect tool. They are what makes survival possible when circumstances are unpredictable. The WWII's survival traps that fed soldiers when supplies ran out were more than clever tricks. They were lifelines born from necessity, ingenuity, and observation. By studying these methods, we gain insight into historical survival strategies and timeless lessons in resourcefulness, patience, and adaptability. If this dive into wartime ingenuity inspired you, subscribe to Backyard Wisdom for more explorations of historical survival skills and practical outdoor techniques. Share this video with fellow history buffs and survival enthusiasts, because understanding the resourcefulness of soldiers can teach us how to endure even the most challenging conditions today.